Right, okay, so welcome along to topic 8 of managing a web server, and this week we're going to talk about hosting additional sites on the server and also about how to password protect a page using this technology called htaccess. Now, htaccess, you've probably sometimes gone to a page and a little username and password box pops up. And we can actually facilitate that with this thing called htaccess that we're going to look at today. So what I'll do is I'll just open the virtual machine. And also we noticed last week that we have a problem because Debian, this version of Debian, the latest one, 11.5, is running with Wayland by default. So what we're going to do is, hang on, we're actually on Debian 11.4 for this. Let's go manage power, shut down guest. So I demoed last week how we change the desktop window manager so that we use the X server, and when we're using VMware, screen shares, recording, browsers, video capture and stuff, the X server works much better, the Xorg. So we're going to change to GNOME, make sure it's on GNOME on Xorg, and then we'll just log in there and just leave this running in the background. Okay, so what we want to be able to do with our web server, and one of the kind of key advantages of Apache is the fact that we can host multiple sites on the same server. So how do we actually go about doing that? Oh, look at this animation there. All right, okay. So to do that, what we do is, so this is just a little bit of a revision topic, and I'm going to go through the steps here just to make it kind of clear for everyone how we actually do this, okay? How we host an additional site, because you're going to need to know how to do this as part of the assessment for this course. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a directory where the site can go. So at the moment, or so far, right, we have saved our websites in var html. Okay, so we're going to make a new directory in there called mysite.com. So first of all, we'll just cd into var html, and we'll see that if we do ls, we've got the contents of WordPress. All right, the WordPress PHP files are sitting in there at the moment. Okay, so we're going to make a new directory. Now, if we run make dir with this -p flag, okay, that actually will, it's short for persistent. Okay, so what this does is, let's say some of these parent directories along the way didn't exist. If we do that, it'll make them in the path as we go. Okay, but we don't actually need to do that because we're already in var www.html. So we can just go ahead and create mysite.com. So we're in the www root, and we're just going to do make dir mysite.com. Right, there we go. So now what we also need to do is, we don't want the site to be owned by root. So we're going to change the ownership of the site to the EC user and to the EC group. Okay, so we'll do this up here so we can kind of see both at the same time. So chown, okay, change ownership. We don't need to do the -r, but I'll do it anyway because we're in the directory. Chown recursively, very recursively, to the EC user and the EC group, the directory var html mysite.com. Okay. Invalid user ECEC. Ooh. Is it because the user's called Michael? Let's do, yes it is actually. You need to put your actual username in here. Michael. This will probably work. Go on then. And then we just need to chmod it. Chmod. Very recursively. What this means is chmod all the directories in the path. Okay, so chmod -r 755 and then var dub html. Cool. Right. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to change directory into mysite.com, and then we're just going to make a simple index file. So vi index.html, and I will spare you the pain of me typing out basic HTML5, most basic HTML, and we'll just get HTML5 basics. We'll just get if someone would just kindly give me a HTML page structure. Certainly not made it very easy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to very quickly fire out a page here, because otherwise it's going to take me ages to get this to work. What I could do is just SSH into the server, then I'll be able to copy and paste. So let's just grab the IP address 192.168.1.145 and minimize this, then get my local terminal open, and we'll do SSH Michael at 192.168.1.145, and we're in. Okay, so now I can copy and paste. So let's cd to var html mysite.com, and we're going to make an index page. So let's just do vi index.html. Right, so let's just fire in I can copy and paste now. Fire in some basic HTML, and we want title. Let's just pop in a wee title there. We'll call it my site. That's annoying. If you press U in VI, you can undo. Top tip there. If you make a mistake, my site. Just escape and then U to undo. Okay, and then what we're going to do is do we have? Let's do head. Oh, title should be in the head. Right, hold on. Head, and then let's just close head of the page, and then body. And you'll see VI is doing some nice indentation. Close body, and then let's just inside here. Let's just put a heading. Okay, H1. Welcome to mysite.com. Close heading. H1. Right. So there's hopefully that's going to work. I can't see any problems with that. Looks like it'll work. Right, cool, let's save that. So we have completed the first steps. We created a new directory. We have set the permissions on the directory. It's in the www root. We have changed the ownership away from root, and we have created a very basic index page that should just say something like welcome to mysite.com on it. Looks like this. Okay, right, so let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is make the virtual host file for the website. Now, you could actually do this first, but I think it's easier to make a virtual host file, a virtual host directive for a site that actually already exists, rather than making a hypothetical one and then going back and making the site. So what we'll do is we'll go into the sites available. Okay, that's where we go now. I should probably update this slide and say, in here, I'll say, make the virtual host file in sites available. Available for the website. Okay, that makes that a bit clearer. So let's go and do that. So sites available is in cd/etc apache 2. So So in here we have sites available, sites enabled where we don't touch anything. So let's cd into sites available. And we have some of these other sites, cars.conf, coffee.conf, mysecondsite.conf, that we've been messing around with over the course of this module. So what we're going to do is copy the default ssl.conf, because this is a template that we can use. So let's make a wee copy of that. So cp default ssl.conf, and we're going to call it mysite.com.conf. Now we don't have to put the .conf on there, we could just put mysite.com, but I think it makes sense to just keep following along with the, how would you call it, the convention of having configuration files called .conf, just to keep us sane. So we've made a copy, I'm not root, not allowed to do it unless you're root. So let's just copy that command there. And of course it's changed my path back to etc apache 2 sites available, and let's copy default ssl.conf to a new file called mysite.com.conf. Great. Now let's go into mysite.com.conf, and we'll see we've got this basic setup here. Okay. Now what we're going to do with this site, okay, is we're going to host it on a different port, I think. But let's just set the document root just now, okay? So Shift capital A takes you onto the end of a line and puts you into insert mode. So we'll just put the path there, mysite.com. Okay, and that's going to be the document root for. Now we also need to go and change these to be the right paths for the certificate that we created, but we can do that in a little bit. The next thing we want to do is enable the site. Okay, so that's the only change we've made so far. We've just set the path in this virtual host directive. So let's come out of there, and then we're going to start Apache, systemctl, start Apache 2, and it's going to make a beep noise, I think, probably. Okay. And now that we've started Apache 2, we're going to say a2en site mysite.com.conf. Okay, so Apache 2 enable site mysite.com.conf. Right. Enabling the site. There we go. So now, to activate the new configuration, you need to run systemctl reload Apache 2. So let's reload. And it's reloaded. Isn't that fantastic? Right. So now that we've reloaded the site, and the difference between restart and reload is restart actually turns the service off and back on again. Reload just rereads the configuration if there's any updated configuration. So next what we're going to do is let's just check we've done everything on here. Yes, we have. Let's move on to the next step then. So step 3, step 4, enable the site. Now, for HTTPS sites, this step is different. We have to set the path to our SSL certificates in the virtual host file. Okay. Now, we've already done that with one of our other sites, I think. I'm thinking that one of these has the path to the 2 certificates that we created. I'm going to have a look in default. Did I change the path? Let's just leave the certificate just now. We'll come back to that. Right, so I created a diagram, a kind of workflow diagram that sort of breaks this down. Okay, so what we're going to do now is try and kind of password protect this site. Okay, so well, first of all, what we should try and do is try and browse to the site. So let me just grab Firefox on the web server here, and we'll go for localhost. See what we get. So we should have WordPress there, Pizza Heaven from last week. So let's do /mysite.com. welcome to mysite.com. Okay, so mysite.com is being hosted there at 192.168.1.145. Now, I'm going to make a slight configuration change to this. I'm going to go back into the configuration of mysite.com, and I'm going to change it to be on a different port. Okay, so let's go back in via mysite.com, and I'm going to pop this on port 9000. Okay, so let's just capital A to get to the end of the line, 9000, and then we'll have to enable it again, I guess, or maybe we should just reload Apache, I don't know. There's one other change we need to make though. If we cd back to the root configuration directory, you'll see there's this file called ports.conf. We need to add on 9000 in there. So let's do vi ports.conf, and you'll see at the moment it's only got listen 80 on there. Okay, so we're actually going to tell it to listen on port 9000. So let's do that. Insert mode, listen 9000. And I'm kind of thinking maybe we should put it in there for the SSL module. We can try that in a second. So now let's just reload Apache and then see if we can get access to the site on port 9000. Let's see. Likely it'll not work the first time, knowing my luck. 9000. Advanced, accept the risk and continue. Ah, here we go. Okay, so now we're hosting this on port 9000. Okay, port based. So now we have two sites running on the server. We've got our WordPress site here, Pizza Heaven, okay, which I've broken by changing the template so many times. And if we go to port 9000 here, we have our mysite.com, and we've got that self-signed certificate as well. That's why I was chucking up some hassle about that. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to try and protect the page on mysite.com on port 9000. Okay, so this is the workflow for doing this. Okay, so we've created a new website, okay, and we're gonna create a secret folder that we can hide, but I think we'll just try and hide the port 9000 and see what happens. So add a new port number, and then we need to do this stage, htpasswd file with username and password in Apache 2. So this is the step that sometimes causes a little bit of confusion. So what I'm going to do is, let's just clear the screen so we've got a clear start here. So we've created a new website, we've set it on port 9000. We could have it on any port, I just choose 9000 because I think it's easy to remember. So we're going to run the following commands, okay? The first command is htpasswd -c for create, okay? And then let's just htpasswd -c space Bob. htpasswd -c. What? Run the following. htpasswd -c dot htpasswd Bob. Right, hold on. Messing up. I'm reading my own guide on how to do this. And htaccess dot docx. Let's have a look at my notes on this one. Make a simple site. htpasswd -c. Ah, you've got to give it a path. Right, okay. So dot htpasswd right, create in etc apache 2 dot htpasswd space and the username Bob. I think this one should work now. Right, new password for Bob. We'll make this super simple. We'll just make Bob's password Bob. Retype password Bob. Adding new password for user Bob. Now, what this has done is this has created a file called .htpasswd. Okay, and inside that file, right, if I do ls-la, we should see that there's this file here called htpasswd. And if we go in and have a look at that file, .htpasswd, you'll see there's a kind of colon to delimit it, but there's Bob, and then there's Bob's hashed password there, so it's hidden. But we know that it's just the word Bob. We're making this super simple. Right, okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make a file called htaccess. Okay, and we're going to put that in the directory that we want to password protect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go, I'll leave this open, the main global configuration, and I'll open a new tab, right, Control-Shift-T, and I'll come root on this. Oh, hang on, I'm SSH, then I'm gonna, right, let's just cd to var www.html mysite.com. Right, so far we've got index.html. We're going to make a secret directory. Okay, so mkdir secret, right, make dir secret. Okay, and then we're going to put a file in here, so cd to secret, and in here we're going to do secret.text. Okay, and we'll just edit secret.text, and we'll put in information. This is the secret file. Do not reveal to anyone, Bob. Right. Okay, save that. So let's just do ls there. So we've got a directory in mysite.com called /secret. Okay, and in there we've put secret.text. Okay, so next what we need to do is just chmod again the www root, like that, and then we're going to create a file in here called htaccess. Okay, and this file is going to password protect this directory. So let's do vi.htaccess. htaccess. Right. And inside the htaccess file, we need the following. We need to tell the htaccess file whereabouts the htpassword file is. We need to say where the password file is. So the line for that is this, auth user file, and we say where it is. Okay, then we need to just add some more. This is just a boilerplate. I wouldn't worry about what that is. Just dev null for the group file. Right, authentication name. So this is the error message that's going to come up. Please enter password restricted area. Authentication type is basic, and we have to say require valid user. Okay, so there's our htaccess file complete in the secret directory. Okay, hopefully we're in the secret directory. We're not doing this in sites available. It does say sites available up there though, doesn't it? You know what I'm going to do? It's going to copy that just in case. Okay, save. No, we are in secret. Right, okay, so now if I do ls-la, we'll see we've got two files in here now. We've got htaccess and we've got secret. Okay, so at the moment this should password protect the directory. It's telling the browser that we have to be authorized by the htaccess file. So there's one last step to doing this, and I'm probably like 50-50 as to whether or not this is going to work. And that is, we need to tell the site's global configuration file, the virtual host directive, about the htaccess. Okay, but hang on, curiosity is getting the better of me, and I just want to go and see if we can see this secret file first of all. So Let's do 9000/secret. See what happens. Right, there, so we can see the secret.txt. Oh, this is the secret file. Do not reveal to anyone, Bob. So our goal is to try and password protect that. Okay, so we've got the password file, we've got the htaccess file in the right place, but we need to now tell Apache to use htaccess here. And the way we do that is we go to etc apache 2 sites available mysite.com.conf mysite. Okay, mysite.com mysite.com.conf. There we go. Right, so just underneath where it says custom log combined, we need to add a little thing here to tell Apache to use htaccess. Okay, so what we're going to do is just under here, we're going to create a little thing that says directory. Okay, and then we're going to say the name of the directory that's going to be protected. So var www html mysite.com secret. Okay, and then close that off, and we're going to just indent this a little bit, and we'll say auth type, and I'm probably going to make a typo here, basic, okay, auth name, restricted content, auth user file, and that is the htpassword file, etc apache 2 /.htpasswd, and then we just need to say require valid user. Okay, and then we just need to close off this directory. So let's do close directory. Right, hopefully that's worked, and I can see a spelling mistake already. Restricted content. There we go, got there eventually. And this is a message that's going to pop up. Okay, so what we need to do now is just restart Apache. So let's clear this off, and we need to also make sure that mod rewrite is enabled. Okay, so the command for that is a2en mod rewrite. It's a module that we need. Already enabled, perfect. Okay. Systemctl restart Apache 2. Okay, now I'm about 32% sure that this is going to work the first time. I'm really not confident that this is going to work. I always usually mess this up, but let's try and see what happens. /secret. Okay, fingers crossed here. Actually did work the first time. Normally it doesn't. Normally I've made a spelling mistake somewhere or something. Right, so username Bob, password Bob, sign in, internal server error. Okay. Say this, what has it said? There's a 1 missing in htapasswd. Great. Save. Right, hold on. The server encountered an internal. So close to getting that work. Right. So hang on. I'm looking in the chat. There is 1 missing in htapasswd. Hold on. In which file? Arturo, which file is it missing in?
The last one you already said.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Okay, hold on. CD to Etsy, Apache 2, sites available, and my site dot. Oh yeah. Well, hang on. That's a directory, isn't it? Okay. vi.mysite.com. There's an S missing, is that? Yes. HTTP. See you. I'm good at this. Right, that could be the problem. So probably what we should do is give old Apache a... Let's go back then. The thing is, once you've authorized with the password, it usually lets you in, but you know what we can do? I'll try and browse over the LAN to the website in a second, and I'll show you what's one of the problems that comes up when you try and do that. Right. Chmod, let's restart Apache. Where is restart Apache? Get the other terminal up. Okay, fair enough. If you're going to be strange about it, server, I will just systemctl restart Apache 2. Right, okay, so in theory this should work, but I bet you it doesn't because I've already authorized with the password, but it might just let me through. Secret. Yeah, lets me through, and there it is there now. Now, what I'm going to try and do is navigate to this over the LAN so that it prompts me for the password again. So there might be one more change, just one more thing that we have to change, and that is likely the up here, the IP address. So see how it says up there, default at the moment. This is a newer thing. I'm going to change that to the actual IP address of the server. Now, there's a couple of things, but there's a few options available to us here. We could change this to star, then it'll work on any IP address. Maybe that's the best approach. Or I can manually set it to 192.168.1.145. Let's just go star and see if that works just now. So again, I'll have to restart Apache after that because it made a change. Right, now let's grab this URL and I'll grab a random browser. I've got about 10 browsers. Let's go Chromium. Let's just live on the edge. Let's go for Chromium. VC. Haha, connection is not private. Advanced, proceed. There we go. And now it's asking me for the username and password. So we'll fire in Bob and Bob. Okay, sign in, and we're in, and there's the secret file. This is the secret file. Do not reveal to anyone. Bob. Okay, there we go. Minimize. Right, okay, so returning to my little diagram here, we have, we enable the site, we create it, we set the port, we create the htpassword file with the username and password here, then we add reference to the password file in the config, and then we just set the path, and then we test. Okay, so a couple of different directories we need to be aware of. The first one is Etsy Apache 2 apache2.conf. That's the global configuration. Etsy Apache 2 sites available is where we edit files. Never ever ever go in here. And I'll actually show you what's in there. You probably went in there to have a look, I imagine, but I'll show you. If I go cd ... clear, right, sites enabled. If we go into sites enabled, you never ever touch anything in here, right? But if we go in here, we'll see that mysite.com.conf is actually in there. Now if I do lsla, these files are actually links, okay, to the files and sites available. So what's actually happening when you run a2en site is you're creating a link from this into sites enabled, okay, because you're doing Apache 2 enable site. So you're saying take this from sites available and link it into sites enabled, and A2EN site's like a little script that does that for us. You don't get it on other Linux distributions. Sometimes you have to do this manually, but Debian provide us with the A2E insight. So ports.conf is just where we put port numbers, and then that's the www root, and this is our 2 log files. Okay, so just a brief recap of htaccess. htaccess is a configuration file that's supported by web servers. The dot before the name sort of hides the file from a basic ls. And a site can have more than one htaccess files, and you can do some quite clever little tricks with htaccess as well. So, why htaccess? The file will take effect when it's placed in any directory on the web server, okay? And it's actually a handy way of password protecting. I mean, it's not the most secure encryption in the world. It's not going to protect you from the CIA or whatever, but if you just want a basic protection on a page, you just want to lock people out of it, htaccess is very useful. Right, so here's an example contents. We have the kind of header, we'll call this the key, and this is the value. So we have the name of the password file, and we have something that comes up like please enter password, auth type basic, and require valid user just means require a user that exists in the htpassword file. Okay, so htpassword is the other half of this system, and what htpassword does is it allows us to create a password file where we can put usernames and passwords, and we can add multiple usernames and passwords to the same file. We just do htpasswd -c and say like John, Michael, and we can add them in. You've probably seen these kind of prompts pop up on the internet before, and these are htaccess. Okay, so to create the htpassword file, we do htpassword and create, then we say where we want it to go. We do .htpassword and we say a username, and then it'll pop up and it'll say please enter a password for Bob, please confirm the password for Bob, and then when we go in we'll see we have Bob and this hashed password here, okay, which is probably Bob as well. So a recap on the configuration: we want to go into the virtual host file for the website, and we want to say where we want to protect. Okay, just underneath log we need to create this new directory, and then we need to say where the htpassword file is for protecting this directory, and then we need to say require valid user, and that's it. That's what we need to do. So we also need to make sure mod rewrites turned on, and then we need to restart Apache after we've made changes to the configuration file. And when you browse to the page, this is what should come up here. It says, look, Michael's restricted staff area, unauthorized access prohibited, and that will lock you out. Now, I've no idea what this short video clip is. I cannot remember. But what I'm going to do, just for a laugh, is I'm going to click on it anyway and see what it is. Oh yeah, Revolution OS. I already showed you that. So that's the topic for this week, htaccess, and what we're going to be trying to do is password protecting pages on our website, okay, so that we can get to this stage here. Now let me just go over, and I'm going to stop the recording, and I can make this available to you guys so you can have a look back on it if you missed any of that. So I should probably just say, are there any questions at this stage about htaccess or anything like that? htaccess, htapassword?